Nintendo wants your money. Of course they do. They're a company and they know they can get it from fans like you and me. Over the last month, there's been a lot of talk about Nintendo being greedy and pricing their fans out, and I think there is some truth to that, but there's one thing people tend to forget when talking about this. Subscribe for all things Nintendo. Welcome to Next Play. Now let's get into it. The whole Nintendo is greedy seems to have stemmed from the last Nintendo Direct, where we got 3 announcements that had fans hyped until the prices were revealed. Super Mario Galaxy 1+2, Virtual Boy accessories, and the new Amiibo. Fans were upset over Super Mario Galaxy 1+2 being a $70 game for the physical edition and $40 apiece if you go the digital route. Now, $70 for a game that came out on the Wii is pretty steep, but they're enhanced in some way for Switch 1 and Switch 2, even if it's minimal. The biggest thing I see about this is people questioning how they came up with the $70 price tag when 5 years ago, we got Super Mario 3D All-Stars for $60, which included 3 games, one of which being Super Mario Galaxy. I think it's funny how we can get mad over a decision that was made 5 years ago. The industry has changed drastically in the last 5 years. You're also comparing a lazy ROM dump to a package that will enhance the game's resolution to 4K with new UI and controls for both games. Simply put, Super Mario Galaxy 1+2 took more resources to make, and Nintendo should be able to charge more due to that reason alone. Also, if you think it's too expensive, don't buy it. You're really not missing out on anything other than a fresh coat of paint. Heck, you could go get a Wii and the 2 original games for the same price. Seeing the failed Virtual Boy get some love was strange, but welcomed, as it's a part of Nintendo's history that doesn't usually get much love, but the way they're going about it is kind of odd. For starters, to play the NSO Virtual Boy, you'll need 2 things, the NSO Expansion Pass and one of the 2 Virtual Boy accessories. Now, you could go the cheaper route and get the Labo-like cardboard version for $25. But that will take away from the experience, so you'll probably want the $100 replica of the full Virtual Boy, minus the controller of course. So to play this library that only has 2 or 3 decent games at best, you'll be spending over $150. Now, unlike my take on Super Mario Galaxy 1+2, I think this is highway robbery. The fact that Nintendo doesn't have a way to play these games in 2D without the headset is crazy. If you were to emulate the games, you could play Virtual Wario Land in 2D, and sure, you may lose some of the wow factor, but VR isn't something that blows people's minds anymore. We just want a way to play classic Nintendo games without breaking the bank and our eyes burning out in the process. The whole Amiibo thing has gotten totally out of hand, and I'm not even sure who Amiibo are for anymore. Back when Amiibo first launched, you could get a Smash Bros. Amiibo for $15, and some would even have functionality for other games other than Smash. But as time went on, the prices have gone up and up, costing almost as much as a game. Now, for the Kirby Amiibo, I suppose it makes sense that these are more expensive than your traditional Amiibo, with them swapping characters and all, but even the Donkey Kong Amiibo was $40. These went from a cool figure that could do something small in a game to a figure that costs way too much for what it does. As cool as Amiibo are, I haven't bought one since the Animal Crossing Amiibo, which brings me to my main point of this video. I feel like people have forgotten one big thing. Video games are a luxury hobby, not a necessity. It seems people want to be part of the zeitgeist when it comes to gaming, wanting the newest thing, and while that's fun, if it's too expensive for you to stay on top of the latest games and accessories, don't do it. There's something said about waiting. If you wait, you could get a game or the accessories for a cheaper price down the line. I feel like free-to-play games and Game Pass has given us this false privilege for gaming as a hobby, and some companies won't follow that trend, and Nintendo sadly is one of those companies. I know it's hard to wait for something that looks really fun, but sometimes you have to do it, and when it's a game like Super Mario Galaxy 1+2, there's no need to hop onto the game the day it launches. Am I way off base with this? I'm not even sure. Let me know down below in the comments, and until next time, bye-bye.